Greetings, family. I said, greetings, family. Yo, I'm gonna need a big New Orleans welcome, a big Netroots Nation welcome from your gut. Greetings, family. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Well, good night and welcome, welcome, welcome to Netroots Nation 2018. Props and love to our TBC, To Be Continued brass band. Weren't they amazing? Give it up to the To Be Continued brass band and the Black Feather Mardi Gras Indians. Get up for them. That's great. Second lines have been have a great history of joyful resistance in New Orleans, and we're so proud to open Netroots Nation today with them. I want to acknowledge the people of New Orleans for welcoming us to this glorious and magical city, and I want to lift up our city's new progressive mayor, Mayor LaToya Cantrell, and city councilors Jay Banks and Sidney Nguyen, all of whom the WFP's local branch here in New Orleans worked hard to elect, and I want to give it up for our local branch. So again, my name is Maurice Mitchell, and I'd like to welcome you on behalf of Marlene and Michael Mitchell, my parents, who are proud immigrants from the Caribbean. And my grandmother came to this country and lived as a domestic worker on Long Island without a home of her own, many miles away from her children. And she brought my parents here who raised me in New York. And I've been an organizer through the example of my parents and my grandmother all my life. And I spent the last 4 years working with the Movement for Black Lives, building independent black political power, challenging white supremacy and state violence against black people. Today, I'm here as the new national director of the Working Families Party. It's my second day, so thank you. I'm gonna try for a third, thank you. I hope a lot of you already know something about the party, but if you don't, we're building a political organization that's recruiting, training, and electing the next generation of progressive leaders, from local offices to bright lights like Cynthia Nixon, Randy Bryce, and Ben Jealous. And yeah, clap it up for them. We need to get them elected. And we're building a political home for everyone who wants our nation to work for the many, not the few. I'm so very proud of all the members, staff, organizations, and elected officials who together make up that home. With your help, we're going to bring it to a whole new level together. But I didn't come here to talk about WFP. Now, I want you for a second to just look at us. Look to your left and to your right. Look at your brothers and sisters. Now, I want to talk briefly about what I feel is a sacred trust for everybody in this room. I want to talk about three things. I want to talk about what's at stake, what's possible, and the bridge between those things, an uncommon solidarity. So what's at stake? I don't need to rehash a play-by-play of the daily drama and crisis visited upon us by this administration. People could look at this moment and say that our political and economic and social system are broken, but I disagree. I think they're working exactly as they were designed. A small cluster of wealthy people at the top, mostly white men, who hoard the wealth of our nation and divide working people, pitting communities against one another, just to fight for the scraps on the bottom. If there ever was a time for us to reconsider the ways of being that weaken our movements, it's now. If there ever was a moment for us to challenge the hyper-competition that turned natural allies into adversaries competing for funding or clicks, here it is. For we who believe in freedom, these next few days cannot merely be a moment to trade business cards or trade tweets or recreate the old forms of politics that got us here. Which brings me to what's possible. I heard a sister in the back say, that's right, sis. What if in the midst of all this, we form a new kind of politics, rooted in the compassion, grace, solidarity, and fierce urgency of now? What if we build a new movement committed to building power for everyday people in every county, in every state, with humility, with care, with curiosity, no shortcuts? And what if we repudiate once and for all the false choice between racial justice and economic justice? What if ordinary people stood together across difference, black, white, brown, and said no to the oligarchs and demanded our fair share of what we create? What if our politicians cared just as much about what we think, each and every one of us, as they do somebody who can write a big check? Now, if we really believe in our hearts that Black lives matter, then Black people don't just simply need the absence of police violence. We need the presence of joy. The presence of joy and possibility. The presence of joy, possibility, and creativity. We don't simply want to survive in America, we want to thrive. Family, aren't we brilliant, gorgeous, creative, and compassionate enough to believe that this kind of politics and this world is possible? Aren't we? Aren't we? Which brings me to my last point. Now, I don't have the answers. I don't even pretend to have even a piece of the answers, but I know we have a chance of getting there unless we build an uncommon solidarity. I know deep in my heart that us together are much wiser when all of us are together. And I'm not talking about a sign-on letter or a retweet or showing up at a rally even. And all those things are good. What I'm talking about is putting aside our professional designations and our political affiliations to build a cross-class, multiracial, cross-movement compact, which says that your fight and my fight, although different, are inseparable. We rise and fall together. We argue, we debate, but we do so while we fight from one another's common humanity. That means no one is thrown under the bus, that we don't win without the poor. We can't succeed without the over-incarcerated. And we won't achieve victory without the undocumented. It means committing for the long haul and investing in the righteous, inglorious, day-to-day work of building community, building trust, admitting fault, and learning together. It means letting go of ownership, credit, and brand. I'm convinced that somewhere in that, we will make a way. We'll build a strategy. We'll fail. We'll rebuild. We'll fail again and build it anew until we have victory. So as you take in these next few days in New Orleans, my request is that you consider what you must leave behind, because too much is at stake. What new ways of being you must pick up to achieve what's possible. And lastly, how you can show up more authentically to forge with everyone in this room an uncommon solidarity. So in saying farewell, I leave you with an invitation to imagine what we could do together.